Every predator alive today, every lion, every great white shark, every crocodile, is a shadow of what used to exist. The creatures on this list didn't just hunt. They dominated. They were so perfectly engineered for killing that nothing in their world could challenge them. The only reason you are alive today is that they are not. Number 7. Arthropleura and Pulmonoscorpius. When the world was wrong. Before we get to the monsters, we need to talk about what the world looked like before monsters existed. 340 million years ago, the atmosphere contained around 35% oxygen, compared to the 21% we breathe now. In those oxygen-rich forests, the rules of biology worked differently. Arthropods could grow to sizes that are physically impossible today. Arthropleura was the result, a millipede, 8 feet long, nearly 2 feet wide, the largest land arthropod that has ever existed. It left trackways in the mud that paleontologists still find today. Parallel lines pressed deep into ancient rock, each one telling the same story. Something enormous came through here. But Arthropleura wasn't the predator. That was Pulmonoscorpius, a scorpion, nearly 2.5 feet long, 3 times the size of the largest scorpion alive today. Venomous, armored, hunting the very first creatures to crawl out of the ocean and attempt life on land. The first animals to walk on Earth did so into a world where giant venomous scorpions were waiting for them. Evolution on land started hard. It never really got easier. Number 6. Entelodon. It looked like a pig. It was nothing like a pig. Entelodon, the hell pig, lived across Europe and Asia from about 37 to 19 million years ago. It stood nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder. It weighed over 900 pounds. Its skull was nearly 3 feet long, with massive bony protrusions anchoring jaw muscles of extraordinary power. Its teeth told the whole story. Sharp canines for killing, flat crushing molars for processing bone. Scientists have found Entelodon bite marks on the bones of other large mammals, including other entelodons. It ate its own kind. Fossil sites in France revealed something particularly disturbing: bone caches, large mammal bones stored in specific locations, showing repeated bite marks. Entelodon was not just killing, it was storing food, caching kills, planning ahead. A 900-pound animal with bone-crushing jaws, the flexibility to eat anything, and the cognitive ability to plan. The hell pig was not a pig. It was a strategic predator in a pig's body. And for 18 million years, nothing in its ecosystem was safe from it. Number 5. Sarcosuchus and Spinosaurus, the rivers of death. They called Sarcosuchus Supercroc. The name is not an exaggeration. Sarcosuchus lived 112 million years ago in the rivers of what is now Africa and South America. 30 feet long, over 8 tons, a skull over 5 feet long. Its bite force has been estimated at over 18,000 pounds, nearly 5 times the force of a saltwater crocodile. It didn't just ambush prey at the water's edge, it tracked them. A bulbous growth at the end of its snout enhanced its sense of smell, allowing it to detect prey from significant distances underwater. And it shared those rivers with Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus reached 50 feet in length, 20 tons. Semi-aquatic, short dense legs built for swimming, paddle-like feet, nostrils positioned high on its skull like a crocodile, a vertically flattened tail built for propulsion through water. It was the apex aquatic predator of the Cretaceous, in the same rivers as Sarcosuchus. Whatever lived in those rivers had nowhere safe to go. The bank had Spinosaurus. The current had Sarcosuchus. The Cretaceous River was a death sentence from both directions. Number 4. Kelenkin. Most people have heard of terror birds. Very few have heard of the largest one. Kelenkin guillermois lived in Argentina approximately 15 million years ago. 10 feet tall, over 400 pounds. Its skull, 28 inches long, was the largest of any known bird in the history of life on Earth. Its beak was a weapon, massive, hooked, built for delivering powerful downward strikes. Kelenkin didn't bite and hold, it struck, repeatedly. driving its beak down with the force of a pickaxe until the skull of its prey collapsed. It ran at speeds between 30 and 40 miles per hour. It couldn't fly. It didn't need to. Nothing in its ecosystem was faster. Nothing had a skull strong enough to survive a direct strike from that beak. A 10-foot bird that ran at 40 miles per hour and killed by driving its beak through your skull. The dinosaurs were gone, but the birds they left behind were still terrifying. And look, if you've made it this far, you already know this is the kind of content you don't find everywhere. Creatures that actually existed. Stories that are stranger than anything Hollywood could write. If that's your thing, hit subscribe. Because we go deep on this stuff every single week. Mythological creatures, prehistoric monsters, animals that shouldn't have been real, but were. And if any of the creatures on this list genuinely surprised you, drop it in the comments. I'm curious which one hit different for you. Now, back to the list, because we haven't even gotten to the ones that made T-Rex nervous yet. Number 3. Smilodon. The saber-toothed cat is one of the most recognized prehistoric predators in the world. Most people think they know what it was. Most people are wrong about the most important part. Smilodon fatalis weighed up to 900 pounds. Its saber teeth reached 11 inches. But here is the detail that changes everything. Its bite was weak. Weaker than a modern house cat, proportionally. Those fangs were not for biting. They were for stabbing. Smilodon killed by pinning prey with forelimbs built more like a bear's arms than a lion's, the most powerful of any cat that has ever lived, and then driving its sabers straight down through the throat with pure downward force. Not a bite. A precision strike. But the detail that truly separates Smilodon is the fossil evidence from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. Scientists found individuals with severe injuries, broken bones, damaged joints that would have made hunting impossible. These animals survived. The bones show healing. They were fed. They were cared for. Smilodon hunted in groups. It looked after its injured. It had a social structure sophisticated enough to support members who could no longer contribute to the hunt. The saber-toothed cat wasn't just a killing machine. It was a community. And that made it more dangerous than any solitary predator could ever be. Number 2. Deinosuchus. T-Rex ruled the land, but it had a predator. Deinosuchus, terrible crocodile, lived 75 million years ago in the coastal swamps of North America. 35 feet long, 8 tons, a skull over 6 feet long, teeth built not for cutting, but for crushing, scaled up to a size that defies comprehension. Scientists have found T-Rex bones with Deinosuchus bite marks on them. Not small theropods, not juveniles. Adult T-Rex, the apex land predator of the Cretaceous, bearing the tooth marks of something that had grabbed it, bitten through its bone, and left it marked. Deinosuchus didn't hunt T-Rex regularly, but it could, and the fossil record proves it did. T-Rex was the king of the land. Deinosuchus was the reason the king stayed away from the water. Number 1. Tyrannosaurus rex. Everything you think you know about T-Rex is incomplete. 40 feet long, 9 tons, a bite force of 60,000 newtons, enough to crush bone completely, to bite through the spine of a large hadrosaur in a single strike, to leave tooth marks pressed 2 inches deep into solid bone. But the recent science goes further. Forward-facing eyes with binocular vision wider than a modern hawk. Olfactory bulbs proportionally larger than almost any other dinosaur. It could smell blood from miles away. Hearing tuned to low frequencies, the kind produced by large animals moving through dense vegetation. And new research suggests T-Rex had lips. Soft tissue covering its teeth when its mouth was closed. Its approach was silent. No visible teeth. No warning. Just a 9-ton animal moving through the forest until it was close enough that running was no longer an option. It lived for up to 28 years. It grew at 1,700 pounds per year during its teenage years. By adulthood, it had spent years learning its environment, learning its prey, learning the patterns of every animal in its territory. It wasn't just built for killing, it was experienced at it. Every other predator on this list had a rival, something that challenged it, displaced it, or kept it in check. Arthropleura had the oxygen levels that dropped. Pulmonoscorpius had vertebrates that grew too large to hunt. Entelodon had new predators arriving from other continents. Sarcosuchus had Spinosaurus sharing its rivers. Kelenkin had the land bridge that ended its isolation. Smilodon had the collapse of the megafauna it depended on. Deinosuchus shared its world with T-Rex itself. T-Rex had nothing. For 2.5 million years, longer than modern humans have existed as a species, T-Rex sat at the absolute top of the most complex terrestrial ecosystem Earth has ever produced. No predator challenged it. No competitor displaced it. No rival evolved to fill the same niche because the niche was already perfectly occupied. It wasn't removed by something stronger. It wasn't outcompeted by something faster or smarter. It was ended by an asteroid. A rock from space. The only thing in the universe powerful enough to stop it. That is not a predator. That is a force of nature wearing the shape of an animal. T-Rex was not the most dangerous creature on this list because it was the biggest, or the fastest, or the strongest. It was the most dangerous because it was all of those things simultaneously for longer than any other predator in history, in an environment that threw everything it had at it. And nothing was ever enough. 7 creatures, all real, all gone. The bones are still in the ground. The bite marks are still in the fossils. They were here, and the only thing standing between you and them is time. Thanks for watching.